Well, the last conversation we had about features of instructional leadership was management by walking about. And let me conclude that conversation by saying that when you manage and enter into the classroom of an educator as part of the management by walking about, and you spend more than 30 seconds, I think you have overstayed your welcome. I don't think you should spend more than that time. Maybe a minute, but more than that, you are then overstaying your welcome. That's not the purpose. Let me continue by looking at another feature today, and that is school monitoring evaluation. And this is a very important feature of instructional leadership. And the first question we need to ask is what needs to be monitored. Members of the SMT, and the SMT is a collective, must monitor curriculum planning. Second, they must manage and monitor learner work. The SMT as members and as a collective must also monitor the reading of learners. Members of the SMT, and the SMT as a collective, must also monitor learner books, learner work, must be monitored by the SMT. The SMT must also monitor assessments, and that forms the very basis of the monitoring and evaluation. Now, I always say, in a very simplistic way, that there are 5 very important aspects of monitoring and evaluation at school-based. 1, you should have an instrument. If the instrument is more than 1 page, the instrument is too long. And so it's important that you keep the instrument short and sweet, because it saves you on time management. A very other important principle of monitoring and evaluation is 1, that the teacher should know what is going to be monitored, how it is going to be monitored, and when it is going to be monitored. You know, monitoring and evaluation is not to spy on teachers and or learners, or to be kept a secret. No. It is a participative process, and teachers should know the what and the how and the when. They must know what to expect. It is also important that feedback is given. Now, feedback is a very important aspect of monitoring and evaluation. And the feedback that I'm talking about is the one that you give not necessarily very formal feedback. Now, sometimes feedback can be informal and it can be done orally, but I want to advise in the school context that you have a very formal monitoring and evaluation feedback, and that the feedback is in a written form. But caution, never issue a written report on monitoring and evaluation to an educator. Make an appointment for the educator to visit you, hand a copy of the report to the educator, and speak the educator through your findings and your recommendations. Be very positive and productive. Do not be negative and fault finding during your monitoring and evaluation. That serves very little developmental purpose. Make sure that your instrument allows for a tick list, it helps with time, but also gives comments and space for comments to be made. And that's also very important. Make sure that your instruments are kept up to date and annually reviewed. You know, one thing about an instrument must be seen as a work in progress. Always update, always monitored, and always improved as conditions change and so on. So yes, you now know what to monitor, you now know how to monitor, and you now know how to give, very important, structured feedback.